Welcome to a brand new episode of Johnson's Court. Today I'm super excited to be with all of you out there staying indoors because the United States has had some crazy weather going on, from fires to winter storms to ice, tornadoes. Just the whole country is being affected right now. So if you're indoors, being safe, please continue to do so. And this weekend, actually, as you're staying inside, we get to watch football. We did get to watch the two college football games on Thursday and Friday, and then we get the weekend wild card games for the NFL, and then we will move on next week to the divisional round, and then obviously the AFC NFC Championship, and then the final week being the Super Bowl. So right now, drop your comments below, who you have as your Super Bowl winner. But on this channel, what we're going to do is we're going to go week by week to see, who you have moving on. So even if your, say, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are your Super Bowl champion winners, they could lose first round. So who knows what's going to happen in the playoffs? It's a different breed, and that is just how everything goes. But before we get into the picks and we deep dive into it, the regular season has wrapped up for Week 18. It is done. It is over with, and now on to the playoffs. And what that means is we have to go over our records of our regular season. So I'm going to announce who came first, second, and third, and then I'm also going to tell you what our records were last week, and then that will be the regular season final records, and then we'll have a playoff record, who will win that, and then who will be the overall champion of playoff and regular season combined total. So 3 different records, guys, ladies and gentlemen. But last week I did not have the best week. I went 8-8, so I went 500 exactly, but that hurt me, and I'll tell you here in a minute why that did. Because Nick and Beagle both went 13-3. Now they picked the teams that were going to win, and honestly, their 3 losses were some of mine as well. So think about it: if they don't have 3 losses, and I take away 3 losses, okay, yeah, I've got a better record, but then they go 16-0. Nobody went 16-0. We did have a few 15-1s, or someone only losing 1 game or 2 games and 3 games as well. So no 16-0, no perfect regular season, but that just means that if you guys have been following along, you guys have seen that I was in first all year long up until the final week, Week 18, until the very end. And then Nick was in second, and then Beagle was in third. But there is no third place this year for regular season standings, because Beagle and I tied for second place. I know this is as crazy as it could possibly be, but like I said, I went 8-8 in the final week. Give me one more win. Give me one more win, and I'm in second place solely by myself. Give me a few more wins. Maybe I could have tied Nick for first, but that just didn't happen. Beagle and I both tied with 183 wins and 89 losses. What that comes out to an overall percentage, and I'll do this here real quick, which should have already done it. That comes out to 48%. So we predicted 48% of the games right this year, which honestly, that's pretty phenomenal. 48%, that's almost 50% of the games. I say we did a really, really, really good job. But Nick is your overall regular season winner champion, as he won with 185 wins and 87 losses. So that means Beagle and I were right there behind him. We lost by 2 because he had 2 more wins, and we had 2 more losses. So we were 2 games behind this guy. Like, that is insane how close it was all season long. But that means Nick went with 185. He actually predicted 47 of the matches correct. I paused there because I was like, wait a second. Shouldn't he have more than us? But that is not necessarily the case. No, my calculator is correct. Math is mathing. He predicted 47% of the games correct, and he was still able to win. So crazy, so hectic to be right there, so close, but there can only be 1 winner and 2 people in second place. Now, as you can see the hat that I'm wearing, we'll move on to college football just here for a second, then back to the NFL. Notre Dame is going to the national championship versus Ohio State University. Now, did I want to play Ohio State? Absolutely not. They're the best freaking team in the nation right now. I mean, all these teams deserve to, be in the national championship. Penn State played a phenomenal game versus us, so they could have went and played Ohio State, or Texas could have won, and we could be playing Texas. But there's some teams that we have a better shot versus against, and I thought Texas was going to be not an easy win at any means, but just I thought that we could handle them better than what we might be able to do against Ohio State. I still have full, 100 belief that Notre Dame is going to win, but, I just think it would have been a little bit of a easier containment to a win beating Texas. But we're going to play Ohio State, so bring on the Buckeyes and the national championship come January 20th. Obviously, guys, I got, Notre Dame winning, so let's go. Let's go Irish. But here we go into our wild card picks. Now, we have 2 games on Saturday. We have 3 games on Sunday. Yep, let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3. Yep, and then 1 game on Monday. So to start us out for the NFL wild card round is the Los Angeles Chargers, who I believe are they're the 5th seed, and they're playing the Houston Texans, who are the 4th seed. Now, C.J. Stroud and the Texans had a slump this year. I know, their best wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, got hurt. Nico was hurt for the first half of the year, but has been able to play better and has came back this year. But then they lost Tank Dell for the season, so that's really going to hurt them as well. So how well can the Chargers contain their wide receivers who are in the game now? And how are the Chargers going to do behind... I always get them mixed up and wrong. I want to say it's Jim Harbaugh, right? Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. But whether it's John, Jim, whoever is coaching the Chargers, I should know that. But anyways, the Chargers are 11-6. The Texans are 10-7. Me personally, for this game, I've got the Chargers winning this game. And the reason I have the Chargers winning this game is because they should have been good for so many years. They should have been able to go far in the playoffs for what they've been able to do. They just kind of really haven't. But maybe I do think that this is their year to do it. And like I said, the Texans have had that sophomore slump, and I think they were able to win the AFC South because the AFC South sucked this year. So pretty easy. What am I trying to say? It was a pretty easy division win for them to have, just because the AFC South was so bad this year. But they are playing the teams who are in the playoffs, who are good enough to be in the playoffs, and I think that their run comes to an end tonight. And I think the Chargers take the dub at 4:30 when the game gets started. But then our night game on Prime Video, which I'll be watching both these games, but it's the Pittsburgh Steelers playing the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is an AFC North showdown. Both these teams deserve to be in the playoffs, as they both, played really well this year. The Ravens could have had a better record, so they could have played someone different. But they are playing a divisional opponent. They are 12-5. Like I said, they could have a better record. And the Steelers are 10-7. And they could also have a better record as well, honestly, with, how they played this year. But I think this is going to be, obviously, the first round of games, the game of the week for that. I don't think it's going to be the game of the week for the whole weekend, but I do believe that it will be for just on Saturday. The Ravens, I've got a lot of faith in them. The Steelers are pretty good as well. They've got Russell or Justin Fields, whichever one they go with. More than likely going with Russell. But, if they need Justin Fields in, they can always play that two-man system quarterback. So the Ravens have to be ready for that at all times. But, I do see the Ravens winning. Yes, Zay Flowers, their Pro Bowl wide receiver, is out of this game. Steelers have a great defense. Can they stop Derrick Henry? I don't know. I don't think so. Do give me the Ravens. Moving on to the second round. And, guys, I forgot to say who Beagle and Nick both have. So, Nick has the Chargers beating the Texans. Beagle also has the Chargers beating the Texans. Like I said, I've got the Ravens, and then Nick has the Ravens, and so does Beagle. So we are all picking the same team so far here. And then on Sunday at 1 o'clock, where you're like, okay, this is a normal football game, normal time coming on. It is the Denver Broncos playing the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Broncos were able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who rested all their players on Sunday because last Sunday because they knew that they had the number 1 seed locked, so it didn't make sense to play their players. And the Broncos won 38-0, so clinched their spot as a 7 seed in the AFC playoffs. They are 10-7, with Bo Nix leading them. Sean Payton. The first time that a drafted QB for the Broncos that have taken the Broncos to the playoffs since, I don't know who they were saying, but I know it's like somebody. But the Bills are 13-4. Now, the Bills, I think, are the best team in the AFC, to be honest. No, they're not the number 1 seed, but I think they're the best team in the AFC, and I think that they will get this win versus the Broncos. Like I said, I don't think any win is going to be easy in the playoffs because, adrenaline's going, every game is heightened, to more every hit, every count, every snap, means a lot more, obviously, because that does affect you later in the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, when the game's on the line. And I have sneeze again, but hopefully I can hold it off. But I do see the Bills winning this game over the Broncos. The Broncos might give them a little trouble first half, because the Broncos they've got all the momentum going right now. They know what they need to do, but the Bills have been there before. The Bills know how to get the AFC Championship game, and I think that they more than likely will. So give me the Bills to start out on Sunday. Now let's see here. Does Nick have... No, Nick has the Broncos beating the Bills. Now, I get it. They have the momentum going. They absolutely could beat the Bills, but I just don't see anyone beating the MVP of the league this year, Josh Allen. Let's see here. Beagle, he decided to go with the Bills, so he's on the same page as I am. And, like you said, not to say that the Broncos aren't good this year, but when it comes to the playoff, experience normally does pay off. Then at 4:30, you've got a Week 1 matchup in Brazil that already happened this year. The Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles did get that win, I believe. Can the Green Bay Packers get redemption on this game? And I think they do have a really good chance to do that. But, the Eagles, they rested all their starters last, the Week 18. How much does it hurt you? Does it not hurt you? Because the Packers did not rest their starters. So, even though they ended up losing to the Bears on a last-second field goal. Now, can the Packers win this game? Absolutely. Can the Eagles win this game? Absolutely as well. The Packers are 11-6, and the Eagles are 14-3. Now, the Eagles do have potentially the MVP as well. I don't know who the MVP is going to go to yet. That's why I say they could have the MVP, Saquon Barkley. And, he almost broke Eric Dixon's record. Would have beat it if he would have played in Week 18, but it didn't make sense to play in Week 18 since you already were locked in the playoffs and you were going to stay the seed that you were going to stay. So don't play, don't get hurt. Rest for the playoffs, which makes a lot of sense. Now, will this game be the game of the week? I don't think so. I think there's another game that's going to be game of the week. And that would make sense of why they put them where they put them. But give me the Eagles to win this game. It is at home for them. I think this is, a 3-point game either way, but give me the Eagles to win this game. Let's see, Nicholas. He went Eagles as well, so he thinks they edge out the Packers, and Beagle also went the Eagles. So we all have the same pick there. Then at 8 o'clock, you've got the Washington Commanders playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Commanders are 12-5 with a rookie QB, Jaden McDaniels. They're playing pretty hot. They've played really well all season long. But the Buccaneers are 10-7. They clinched, their division the last week of the regular season, which they should have already had that locked up. But they finally got it. They are 10-7. It is a home game for the Buccaneers, but with the games that I've been watching the Buccaneers play, they just don't close games out. And they just haven't been able to, do very well. You guys all know that I'm a, big Baker Mayfield fan. And, I really do think that he'll play well this game. But I think the Commanders are just too hungry. I feel like they're going to win it more. And I think Jaden McDaniels is going to have a pretty good game, too. And I think that the Commanders are going to come out on top on this. So give me the Commanders. They are on the road, but give me the Commanders as the underdogs in this matchup. And I think that's the first... underdog that I've picked, for round 1. So the Commanders are my underdog to win in round 1. Then on Monday, January 13th at 8 p.m., you've got the Minnesota Vikings playing the Los Angeles Rams. Now, this is going to be a great game either way, and I think that this is game of the week. The Vikings are, 14? They're 14-3, and the Rams are 10-7. I think this is a wonderful matchup because Both teams have playoff experience in here. Sam Darnold not as much, but I don't know if he has any. But I do know that the Rams, Matthew Stafford has one. He's got a ring that can play a lot in what's going to happen for the Rams and maybe how this game is played and developed, over it. But I do see the Vikings winning and taking this game. But I know why they put it on Monday night, because it's game of the week and it's going to come down to the wire. I think it comes down between 3 to 7 points. I think it's a really close game. I don't think anyone's going to go up 14 points or anything like that and hold that lead the entire game. They could. The Vikings could do that, or the Rams could do that. Like I said, the Rams are the honestly second hottest team in the NFC this year. So can they keep that up and show why they were the top two team, one of the top two teams in the NFC all year long? Or do the Rams have something to say about it, as they were not predicted to win their division, but did end up winning their division over the Seahawks, over the Cardinals, and over the 49ers? I don't know. I think it's going to be a real good game. I think Matthew Stafford is going to play, pretty well, but I think the Vikings are going to edge it out and, take it on the road. So give me the Vikings, which I guess technically you'd say they're the underdog, even though they are the better record, because the divisional winner should be the favorite, But I've got the Vikings, Nick has the Vikings, and Beagle has the Vikings. So as funny as this all is, oh shoot here, I did not say that. Nick went, I didn't say the last game, who has who. Nick has the Commanders, and then Beagle has the Bucks. So there are a few games in here which we are a little different. Like Nick's got the Broncos, I got the Bills, and then Beagle has the Bucks, and me and Nick have the Commanders. So we could honestly all have the same record going into the divisional round. We'll see what happens there. I really don't know. But this is week 19 of the NFL. I will see you guys all again in week 20. So enjoy watching the playoffs, and I will see you